You don't need a new sofa. You don't need a renovation budget. Honestly, you might just need to move one chair. Some of the most powerful design upgrades cost exactly $0. But the trick is knowing where to look and what to rethink. In this video, I'll show you designer-approved, totally free changes that can instantly upgrade your space. No gimmicks, just smarter, sharper design, without touching your wallet. Watch through to the end. There's a mindset shift waiting that'll change how you see every room you walk into. Get inspiration. Before you start moving furniture or painting over something, pause. Open up that Pinterest board you haven't looked at in 6 months. Pull out the design magazine you dog-eared at the barbershop. The best room upgrades, even the free ones, start with a clear vision. You're not copying, you're calibrating. Focus on what you're drawn to. Is it the texture, the symmetry, the mood? Sometimes all it takes is recreating one small detail, like the contrast of black and wood, or how a space uses symmetry to give your room a completely different tone. As an architect, I always tell clients, you don't have to start from zero. You just need to start with clarity. That's why we use mood boards, not just for aesthetics, but to anchor every decision with purpose. If you know what you're aiming for, you'll stop decorating impulsively and start making smarter moves. Look at your own stuff with fresh eyes. Swap a chair from the bedroom, flip the rug, reframe that thrifted print. When you know the vibe you're chasing and can see it mapped out in front of you, you'll realize you already own more than enough to make it work. The biggest upgrade: rethinking how you use what's already in front of you. And once you've found that direction, now it's time to lay down some structure. Let's talk about how to zone your space without spending a dime. Define the zones. Open floor plans can look great on paper, but without proper zoning, they fall apart in real life. You end up with a floating sofa, no sense of purpose, and awkward dead zones. As someone who designs layouts for a living, trust me, even small spaces need boundaries. Use low-profile furniture, open shelving, or a row of curtains to create division without closing things off. Natural fiber area rugs work overtime here. They ground a zone, guide foot traffic, and add texture all at once. You don't need new furniture. You need a better layout. Pull your sofa away from the wall. Use a bench as a divider, or even rotate your bed to reclaim space. Good zoning brings clarity to how a room functions, and that clarity makes it feel bigger. That's the core of space planning, deciding how you want to live, and then arranging your space to match. If you're not sure where to start, try marking it out before you move anything heavy. Painter's tape is a simple tool architects and designers use all the time. It lets you map out furniture placement right on the floor. You can also use free apps like SketchUp or even Floor Planner to test ideas virtually. The goal isn't perfection, it's intention. Once you start treating your room like a layout project instead of a furniture dump, things start to click. And once the layout clicks into place, you'll finally see what's weighing the whole room down. Let's talk about decluttering and what to actually do with the stuff you already have. Declutter and repurpose. Most of the time, your space isn't too small, it's just overwhelmed. Visual noise builds up fast. Too many colors, mismatched decor, random furniture with no clear job. The fix? Strip it down. Get rid of the extras, the duplicates, the maybe I'll use this someday stuff. When you clear the surfaces and open up the floor, you're not just tidying, you're giving your brain room to breathe. Clean lines and empty space create calm, and calm always looks good. I usually recommend the 5-box method: keep, donate, sell, discard, and recycle. It's a straightforward system, especially for guys who don't want to overthink. But don't toss everything. Look at what you already own and start upcycling. That stool in the entryway might work better as a nightstand. Your spare baskets, Great for hidden storage. Even an old dresser can become a sleek console with new knobs and a coat of paint. You don't need a shopping spree. You need to see your own stuff with fresh intent. And suddenly, your home feels brand new, without buying a thing. And when it comes to DIY, skip the glitter glue and the TikTok fails. Go for upgrades that look built-in or bespoke. Mount a slim wood plank above your radiator to double as a shelf. Paint your old side table in a matte charcoal or forest green to give it weight and sophistication. Add leather pulls to a tired drawer set, or re-oil a solid wood surface to bring back the grain. These aren't crafty, they're clever. Your visitors won't be able to tell you made it. It'll just look like you hired someone who knows what they're doing. Once the clutter's gone, even the most forgotten pieces start showing potential. Paint and refurbish. A can of paint can rescue just about anything. That beat-up side table? Sand it down and give it a matte black finish. Plain bookshelf? Try a moody olive or deep navy. Repainting old furniture is one of the easiest ways to give your space a tailored look without spending a dime, especially if you already have leftover paint in the garage or storage. And you don't have to stop at furniture. A coat of paint on a planter, a picture frame, or a storage box can instantly tie mismatched pieces together. Just stick to your space's color palette, so even small paint updates feel intentional, not random. You can also refurbish with simple tools, swap out hardware, restain a wood top, or even remove doors from an old cabinet to make it an open shelf. These tweaks don't require special skills, just a bit of patience and a steady hand. The best part? You're extending the life of what you already have, but giving it a finish that looks deliberate, not secondhand. If your furniture's starting to look fresh, wait until you see what happens when the textures join in. Texture and imperfection. Here's a designer trick that costs nothing but changes everything. Texture. When a room feels flat or cold, it's often because every surface is too smooth, too new, or too similar. So start mixing things up. Bring in woven baskets, unfinished wood, linen throws, or rough pottery. Even a simple bowl of rocks, dried branches, or coral you picked up on a beach trip can add that tactile layer. Natural materials bring the kind of depth and grounded warmth you can't fake. And chances are you've already got a few lying around. Now, about that old tray, or the metal lamp base that's starting to tarnish, don't hide it, highlight it. Speed up the patina, or embrace wear and tear as part of the charm. A little scuff on a vintage table or a faded rug adds character. If you have a family antique or flea market find, rethink how you use it. An old chest can be a coffee table. A wooden ladder becomes a towel rack. When you combine worn-in texture with purpose, your space doesn't just look good, it feels lived in with a story. And since we're talking upgrades that work smarter, not harder, let's fix what's probably ruining your windows. Upgrading window style. Windows are more than holes in the wall, they're how your space breathes. But you'd be surprised how many guys get this wrong. Cropped curtains that hover awkwardly above the floor instantly cheapens the room. Thin, plastic blinds that rattle every time the wind hits. Same story. A simple upgrade? Full-length curtains that kiss the floor and bamboo or natural woven shades for a layer of texture. They're not just better looking. They control light, add privacy, and make your space feel more intentional. Let that daylight work for you. Good light changes everything. It opens up the room, highlights your furniture, and makes even second-hand pieces look better. And if your windows are in a weird spot or too small, mirrors can bounce that light right where you need it. Layer your window treatments, use natural textures, and don't underestimate the way it frames your view. Because design isn't just about what you see inside, but how you shape what's outside too. The best part? You don't need to buy new window upgrades if the budget's tight. Try relocating a pair of curtains from another room, or sew extensions onto short panels using a contrasting fabric for a tailored, intentional look. Mount your curtain rods closer to the ceiling. It'll make your windows and room feel taller. And if you're really short on natural light, keep the color palette around your windows light and reflective to help maximize whatever natural light you have. Before you think about buying art, take a look around. The start of a great gallery wall might already be sitting in your closet or photo roll. Frame it right. A good room tells a story, and your walls are a prime spot for that. Gallery walls are still one of the easiest ways to make a space feel layered, personal, and complete, as long as you're not just copying a template. You don't need to buy into overpriced prints to make it happen. Start with what you already have. That photo from your last trip? Frame it. Your niece's drawing? Put it in a clean black frame and call it modern. Even old magazine pages, maps, or album covers can become gallery-worthy with a bit of editing. Lay them out on the floor first. Find a rhythm in the sizing, and keep it cohesive by sticking to a limited color palette or consistent frames. If you're into the hunt, thrift store art is one of the best-kept secrets in design. You can find a gold mine of original paintings and vintage frames for next to nothing. Match your paint colors to one of the tones in your art to pull the whole look together. And if you're patient, holiday sales are the perfect time to grab that piece you need to finish the set. Art doesn't have to be rare, it just has to feel like it belongs. Shelves can be decor too, if you style them with intention. Let's clean them up next. Restyle your shelves. A cluttered shelf doesn't make you look interesting. It makes you look out of focus. Shelving is one of those design elements that can either elevate a space or quietly bring it down. Most guys just stack books and toss in a few random objects. But here's the move. Treat your shelves like a layered outfit. Mix vertical and horizontal books, add negative space, anchor each shelf with something solid, like a ceramic piece, a framed photo, or a natural object. Think of it as visual weight training. Keep the balance tight. This is also where cohesion really starts to matter. Pull in consistent materials or colors across the shelves, like black metal frames, raw wood, or warm tones, to create a rhythm. If something doesn't work, don't force it. Swap in pieces from another room. Even just repositioning items can wake the whole thing up. This is the kind of stuff I talk through with clients during walkthroughs. It's free, but the results feel polished. Balance, check. Texture, check. Now let's add some life. Literally. Bring life in. There's a reason every well-designed space has something living in it. Plants do more than just add color. They shift the energy of a room. They soften harsh corners, absorb noise, and create visual breathing room. Start small. A snake plant in the bedroom, pothos trailing on a shelf, or a monstera in that awkward corner you never know what to do with. You don't need a jungle, just enough greenery to interrupt the monotony and make the space feel human again. And if you're thinking, I don't have a green thumb, don't worry. Low-maintenance plants like ZZ plants, rubber trees, or even cut branches in a tall vase do the job without drama. If you're really tight on time, a well-made faux plant still beats an empty, lifeless corner. As an architect, I've seen sterile rooms come alive just by adding one solid planter. It's not about styling, it's about balance. And if your walls still feel like a blank page, there's one classic way to bring them to life, with nothing but paint. Pattern with paint. Paint isn't just for changing color. It's a tool for adding character, especially when you're working with a $0 budget. If your walls feel flat, try using painter's tape to create a striped accent, a block of color behind your bed, or even a faux wainscoting effect. These are subtle moves, but they give the eye something to land on. You're basically drawing architecture where none exists, and that's a trick I've leaned on more than once in my experience. You don't need to be a muralist. Wall stencils are one of the easiest, cheapest ways to fake expensive wallpaper or add visual rhythm to a blank wall. No design skills needed, just a steady hand and a little patience. Even tone-on-tone patterns, like matte on eggshell, can add just enough texture to break up a bland space. If your furniture and decor are on the quiet side, this is one way to bring life back into the room without buying a thing. Alright, let's hear it. What's your boldest or weirdest paint experiment so far? Good or bad, drop it in the comments. I've seen enough client disasters to know we've all got one. Walls done? Not quite. Let's talk about the fifth wall. Ceiling upgrade. Most guys ignore the ceiling, like it's just there to keep the roof up. But if you're trying to upgrade your space for $0, the ceiling is your secret weapon. Think about it. It's a blank canvas you already own. A fresh coat of paint, a stylish color or wallpaper can completely shift how a room feels. Want something more detailed? Stencils aren't just for the walls. Take them overhead. You can create geometric patterns, borders, or a soft texture effect using just leftover paint and a steady hand. And if you're not ready to commit to paint, even just cleaning and brightening your ceiling can open things up. A lighter ceiling makes a room feel taller. A darker one brings intimacy and drama. It all depends on the vibe you're after. Over the years, I've seen how even minor ceiling tweaks can bring a space together, especially in rooms with high walls or awkward angles. Don't skip the fifth wall. It's carrying more visual weight than you think. And if you want to push depth and light even further, we're adding mirrors next. Mirror magic. This was mentioned earlier when we talked about window treatments, but it deserves its own spotlight. Mirrors, when used with intention, can completely change the way a room feels. They bounce light, open up tight spaces, and double the impact of anything beautiful in their reflection. A well-placed mirror across from a window can pull natural light deeper into your space, making everything feel more breathable without a single new fixture. You can also lean a large mirror behind a piece of furniture, hang one above a console, or tuck a smaller one into a shelf display. Just be mindful of what it's reflecting. If it's a pile of clutter, that's twice the mess. But if it's clean lines, a great view, or warm light, that's a free upgrade that delivers every time. And while mirrors multiply light, the next upgrade shifts the way your room feels when the sun goes down. Coffee table decors. Most guys see a coffee table as a spot for the remote control and maybe a coaster. But hear me out, this surface is prime real estate for elevating your entire living room. Think of it like a mini stage. Create vignettes, a tray, a stack of books, a candle, maybe a small bowl with keys or matches. These are simple things, but when grouped with a little intention, they tell a story. And more importantly, they make the space feel finished. You don't need to overdo it. Stick to odd numbers, 3 or 5 items, and mix textures, something hard like ceramic or metal, something soft like a fabric-bound book, and something natural like a piece of driftwood or a plant clipping. It should look effortless, not staged. If your space is feeling a little bland or disconnected, a strong centerpiece like this can quietly tie everything together. And speaking of tying things together, let's talk about how your furniture is working or not working to support actual conversation. Invite interactions. A well-designed room doesn't just look good, it works. And one of the simplest ways to upgrade your space without spending a cent: rethink your furniture layout. Too often, everything's pushed against the walls, like they are all awkwardly avoiding each other. But conversation happens when furniture actually faces each other. Try pulling your sofa and chairs inward to form a tighter, more natural zone. You'll be surprised how quickly the room starts feeling warmer, more intentional, more human. Use what you already have. An ottoman becomes a coffee table. A dining chair subs in as an accent seat. Even something as small as angling your rug or turning a chair can shift the energy. And don't forget scale. A massive sectional in a small room will always feel off. Match furniture size to the room's proportions. If it feels too cramped or too floaty, adjust until the balance clicks. Cohesion isn't about matching, it's about flow, proportion, and rhythm. If you've made it this far, props to you. Appreciate you being here. And trust me, these ideas are worth it. The real magic happens when everything works together, like it was all meant to be. Tie it together. Design isn't just about the individual pieces, it's about how they all work together. If your space feels off, it's probably a scale or cohesion issue. Maybe the rug's too small for the sofa. Maybe the side table's floating awkwardly in the corner. Look at the relationships. Furniture to wall, object to object, textures to shapes. Bring harmony with repeated materials, balanced proportions, and pieces that actually talk to each other. You don't need a matched set. You just need a room that feels like it agrees with itself. One quick way to test balance: step back and take a photo. Seeing your space flattened out helps you spot what's visually heavy, what's competing, or what's not doing enough. Adjust from there. And just to say it plainly, there are so many tricks to elevate a space without spending a dime. This entire list proves it. Keep paying attention to the details like this, and your space will start working with you, not against you. When you start thinking like a designer, you're really just thinking like someone who knows themselves well and knows how to shape their space to fit their life. If you want to sharpen that skill even more, this next video will help you a lot.